Hey guys, it's Chris again from CMS, and I wanted to make a little video log or something about a topic that I really find amusing on the internet, that if I read it, I have to laugh all the time, and it's the Mac versus the PC. And this is like when little kids just start arguing about stuff that is kind of doesn't really matter at all, but everyone gets mad at each other, so there's not really an end to the conversation. So I just wanted to make a little list of the pro and contras of the Mac and the PC and compare those two. And I have a lot of Apple stuff and I love it. I've been using it for about 4 years now, my Mac, and I love it for doing videos and that stuff. But I had my first laptop was a Dell, I think. Then I had a bigger one, and now I have my PC that I'm using for gaming. And well, so I have both sides. So I'm just going to try to do this as objective as possible. So I'm just going to start on the pro side for the Mac, which is it is really simple. The Mac is simple in the design and in the usage. So as everybody knows, the Mac looks awesome. Nobody can argue with that. It just looks awesome with this clean aluminium design. It's really simple. And I think if you can have great laptops from as a PC that really look good, but it's not really, it's rare. It's pretty rare. Sometimes you have it's a black box with a screen on it. That's mostly the case of a laptop. Then of course you can get expensive cases for your PC, for your desktop PC, and they can look great with all this shining stuff. But I think this simple design is just something Apple is really proud of, and they can be, because it's awesome. That's like the pro side of Apple, that's what I really love, and I think that's kind of why the price can be bigger, because you pay for the design. And always in this modern world, you pay for design. Everyone says, okay, they look better, but on the inside it may be worse. We're gonna come to that later. But I think you pay for design, of course. Everybody pays for that it looks better, as long as they can pay for it. And then on the other side, Apple has like 5 different types of PCs or something, like the MacBook Air, like MacBook Pro, then the Mac Pro, MacBook Retina, that's the same thing. So, and the Mac Mini. So they have like 4 to 5 real things in the computer industry, and well, the PC has many more. They have a lot of varieties from $100, I think, I don't know, to like $10,000, whatever you want to spend, compared to the Mac Pro. So they have a lot of PCs in comparison to the few Macs that you can get. So you have, I think the first Mac Mini starts at $800, and then the Mac Pro to, I don't know, $8,000 or $9,000, whatever you want to spend. So you really have to spend quite a lot to start into the Mac business. So that's what the PC really has going for them. So if you don't really need all the components of a MacBook Pro or the small size of the MacBook Air, you really can spend like $400 and get a decent PC for your emails, for just Word and Office, on that, all that kind of stuff you need in university or something. So that's a really pro point for Windows. Then of course the price is on Windows. As I said, you can get cheaper Windows PCs, just what you need. You can get what you need. That's not what you can get with Apple. Apple, you have to get this $800 machine if you want to start with Apple, and then you have to get to $1,200 for a MacBook Pro and all that kind of stuff. And that's, the price is always, well, you can pay what you need. That's all I think for the pro side of the PC. But on the other side, the software that you normally use, I'm not talking about these special things that companies use. Normal things like the Office, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, I think those are quite expensive for the PC user. Apple always charged like $15 for Keynote, which is PowerPoint and numbers and pages, yeah, $15 each, so $45 to get the whole package that you could use in the university or at work, whatever, and you would be fine. On Windows side, you have to pay, I think, $110 for this pupils version, so that's like the cheapest you can get. And well, I have to say I like the Apple versions much more. I think they're quite easier to use, and if you don't really know how to use them, I had it in a video where I made a tutorial and I quite forgot how to do that. You can really find it out really simple. It's really intuitive. So that's what Apple is doing. It's making everything easy. So I think from the software, Apple is way cheaper, and now it's even free. So Apple is cheaper in the software for the basic things. Just the basic, not like Adobe After Effects and all that kind of stuff. That's pro league. I'm just talking about the basic things you need every day. Then also, if you use your Mac like for multimedia, for movies, for photos, whatever you like, It's said that the PC is what you want to get for multimedia. I really can't see the point there. Of course, you can't argue with the point that Macs are not for gaming. Get this PC for, well, half the price and you can play better games than on a Mac. That's not to argue. But if it comes to multimedia, movies, music and photos, you should get a Mac if you want to spend that much money, because Apple has the great apps like iPhoto, iMovie and iTunes installed on the Mac, and they work iTunes works better on the Mac than on the PC. I had that all the time. So for multimedia, the Mac just has free apps installed on the Mac. Well, yeah, and you can use them right on the go, and you don't have to download the Pro version or something. There's no Pro version. Of course, you can get Final Cut Pro if you need it, but I think that's, well, I needed it, so I bought it, but you can get really far with just iMovie. So the programs, the basic programs, are way better on the Mac. Then security, I think Windows has way too much updates. Of course, they have all these updates. I installed my PC after quite a while, and it made like 105 updates. Okay, if I have my Mac, I really enjoy having an update because it gets something new, something little, maybe something small, maybe sometimes security updates. But most of the time, I'm enjoying the updates. And on the PC, I always get like, I want to shut this PC down, and then, well, let's run 15 updates or something. So I think the updates are not really good. And well, let's come to the topic of viruses. I always say PCs, Macs don't get viruses. It's not true, but it's much more rare, of course, because not so many people have Macs and use them. That's of course the point. But I think that's for as long as not so many people have a Mac than a PC, then it's way more secure to not get a virus on a Mac. So that's pretty good, and you don't really need a antivirus program or something. Then the reliability. I had my Mac like crash once in 4 years. My PC, well, quite often. It had something, and of course they always say if you take care of your PC, if you can take care of your PC, it won't crash, it won't get any viruses. But I just want to use my PC, and if I go on a website, I don't know, normal websites where something happens, I don't know, viruses can be on anything really. Well, I don't want to worry about getting a virus every time I just go to the internet or do something. I want to just have it and never really bother around all this kind of stuff. So I think in the reliability, a Mac is way better, sorry, than a PC. Then again to the software section, I kind of mixed this list up a bit. Of course, Macs have great software like Adobe After Effects that you can also use on PC, and Final Cut Pro and Aperture, all that kind of stuff. But the variety of programs is on Windows. Of course, you can't run that many apps on the Mac. It's always just for Windows. And I think mostly the most important things are like for companies, that the big programs that are programmed for many years, I don't know the names, that were programmed really big, they are just for Windows. So that's, I guess, why companies don't really get Macs for the companies, because they don't support these great big apps that they need to organize everything. So that's just what I think. And if you want to buy a PC, you can also customize it, which you can't really do with a Mac. You can build a Hackintosh, which is more on the pro side of a PC, because then you can run Mac OS X. But a Hackintosh is not always working, doesn't really work that well. But you can get a better Mac if it works for less money, so you can always buy the parts you need and you don't have to buy a new PC. Of course, on the Mac you can build in a new hard drive, a new SSD, or upgrade the RAM, and on the MacBook Pro I think you can upgrade everything, as long as the space is there. Yeah, so even if you want to do some tweaking, you could build in the old MacBook Pro, you could take out the hard drive and build in the optical drive, sorry, and build in a solid state drive. So that is possible. So but of course on the Windows you can buy much more parts and just customize it. Then on the Mac, as I said, on the PC you could build a Hackintosh and have Mac OS X, but otherwise a PC can run Mac OS X, as far as I know. But on Mac you can run Windows in Boot Camp, and it works perfectly fine. So you can run both things, and all people say Mac is not compatible with anything, but I never saw Word being able to open one of Mac's programs. I can import Word documents on my Mac and edit them. Of course, maybe a font is going to be wrong, or some picture is going to be placed a centimeter on the right or something. So nothing really important. But Mac is way more compatible with the normal day usage, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. They can always import them and use them, and they can run Windows. So I think Mac is way more compatible than Windows is for Mac things. Then, well, I've said the updates, you don't get these huge updates on Mac, and what I really find disturbing is are these pop-ups in Windows, that maybe if you need some administration password or something, or just click OK, but these things even pop up in a game. So I was often playing a game on my PC, and in the middle of an online game, poof, my game closes, well, not just, but minimizes, and I have to click on this pop-up that pops up and it closes my game. So this really disturbs everything. On the Mac, I think sometimes you get a little banner notification, or just the icon and the dock jumps up and down for a few seconds, but that's all. So this is really what I love about Mac. It's just simple and it doesn't disturb you. Then in the laptops, of course, sorry for the background noise now, the battery. If you want to buy a Mac, you always get great battery life. You had like 7 hours last for 2 years, 2 years ago. Now you have in the MacBook Air, you have 13 hours of battery life, and in the MacBook Pros 8 to 9 hours. In a PC or in a laptop PC, you never really got that much. I had one that had like 100% and it lasted 100 minutes. Now you can get, in rare cases, you can get these Ultrabooks with quite a lot battery life, but it's quite rare, and it's just now. Macs have been great with the battery life for years now, and PC is now coming up with the battery life, and I think the battery life is for a laptop way too good to just ignore, like in the cell phones, they just last a day. So I don't want to have that. Now the PCs can compare themselves to the Mac, but then if you want to buy a Mac, you can get great battery life, great speed with Intel i7 processors and all that kind of stuff, and good graphics if you want them. So not for gaming, but for everyday use, for video editing, you can get good graphics. So all three. In a PC, you mostly have to choose 2 of them. You want to have battery life and some speed, well, the graphics card can't be that good. Or you want to have a good graphics card and some speed, well, the battery life is gonna suck. So mostly in the main cases, just in the main cases, there are gonna be exceptions. You have to choose 2 of these 3 aspects. And well, if I look at the Macs, they always look the same, and I think the MacBook Pros now are like this thin. And if I look at working PCs, they are this thick, or gaming laptops, they are this thick. That's just, I think that's huge, and it's not portable, really. Portability is great. A Mac, I can always take it around. Even my dad, who's never really been into Mac, he really doesn't like Mac, but he had this computer from work, which is quite good, but it's like this thick and heavy like hell. So he was like, oh my god, should I get a MacBook Air just for work, because it's so much easier to take around? And I would say yes, because he could just install Windows and then just work with that, and it's way more portable. Then I think my last point is, of course, you don't need a Mac if you have an iPhone or an iPad or something, which many think, oh, you have this, then you need this, and then you need this, then you need this. No, if you have something from Apple, it will work with Windows, but you will get many benefits from having an iPhone and a MacBook Pro. So if you buy something from Apple and you buy something different from Apple, you get benefits and good things from that, like iCloud, which is always, it's better integrated in Mac. So I think that's every point I had like here right now. Yeah, I think I think so. So I think all in all, I don't want to say that one system is better than the other. It depends on your own needs and what you need. So I need my Mac for video editing, photo editing, and watching movies and photos and all that kind of stuff. So multimedia, designing things, and I would say a Mac is just way better than that. But I would never throw out my PC because I want to play games, and even if it's just 2 games. So I would say you should buy just what you need. If you don't want to spend tons of money on a Mac, well, get a PC and be happy with it, because most people don't really need all the kind of stuff that is in a Mac with all the programs and all that kind of stuff. And I think all these discussions in the internet come up because you have these 14-year-old girls that got a Mac for a birthday or something, which is okay, but they use it for Facebook and emails. So you don't now need a $1,500 machine for emails and Facebook. So this is kind of where people say Macs are overpriced. They are overpriced for what many people do, of course, but they are great for what they can do. So I think that's not really, you can't really say Macs are overpriced because what people do with them, it's just, well, they just want to be hipster or whatever by just buying a Mac and don't even need it. So I think that's basically it. So just buy what you need and don't get in a discussion about Mac versus PC. It's always going to be a little kid who's going to claim Mac is better than a PC or games are better being played on a PC, whatever. So this is kind of everything I wanted to say. So leave comments if you want, and well, just leave a Mac versus PC discussion down there. So well, thanks for watching and see you next time.
It sure takes its precious time, but it's got right, and so have I.